Hello students, welcome to part 3 Sectors of the Indian Economy, Chapter 2 Class 10 Economics. Before we proceed, a request to all of you, please like and subscribe. If you have any doubt in any of the concept, please post your queries in the comment box, I'll get back to you. In this video, we are going to discuss about the nature of underemployment present in primary sector and even tertiary sector, and different possible ways of creating employment opportunities in rural and urban areas. In the last video, in the end slide, we were discussing about why there is no significant shift from primary sector to secondary and tertiary sector in India in terms of employment, even though they contribute comparatively more in GDP. So that leads to underemployment in the agriculture sector. What is underemployment? It is underuse of a worker's potential, or we can say the job does not use the laborer's skill properly. People are apparently working, but all of them are made to work less than their potential. One of the best example we can find in India is agriculture sector. Here people are underemployed. That means there are more people in agriculture than the required number. Even if we move a few people out of this field, production will not be affected. Each one is doing some work, but no one is fully employed. Here, labor effort is getting divided. That is why there is no increase in the productivity or in the income level. In the book, you can find one example. From Lakshmi's family, all the 5 family members are working on 2 hectares of their own unirrigated land. But the required number for that field is 3. 2 extra people are working. But productivity is according to 3 workers. This kind of underemployment is hidden and invisible, so it is called disguised unemployment. Actually, we can see the difference between open unemployment and disguised unemployment. Open unemployment means people are unemployed visibly, or they do not get jobs at the existing wage rate. But in case of disguised unemployment, people are working, but the productivity is not as per the number of people working. So in the given example, the 2 extra family members of Lakshmi's family shifting from her land to landlord Sukram's land. So in this case, the productivity of Lakshmi's land will not go down, will be the same, because the land requires only 3 members, 3 laborers. The 2 members were extra, they moved to Sukram's land. So here the family income increases, the 2 members income is extra to the family. At the same time, the production of Lakshmi's land will be the same amount. So from this paragraph, we can find 3 questions. One is define underemployment or disguised unemployment. Second is explain the nature of underemployment in agriculture sector in India, and the distinguish between open unemployment and disguised unemployment. These 3 questions from this page we can find. Can we find underemployment in service sector in India? Yes. There are thousands of casual laborers working in service sector. Actually, in the previous video, we have seen there is an inequality in the growth of service sector. One side, it employs highly educated and highly skilled laborers, but at the same time, the other side, there are number of casual workers working there. They don't find employment on a regular basis. So here you can say there are number of casual workers in service sector in urban area who search for daily employment. Painters, plumbers, repair persons, and the people those who are doing odd jobs, they don't find work every day. The same way, the people those who are on the street pushing a cart, and vendors, cobblers, and the people those who are doing personalized services, they spend a whole day but earn very little. Why they are doing, still why they are staying in the service sector? Because they do not have better opportunities in other sectors too. Now move to page number 27. Should we be worried about this underemployment? If so, if it is yes, then why? Because a person is underemployed not because of a choice, but because of compulsion. Actually, in this case, what is underemployment? The real potential of the labor is not getting realized by the sector. So, it fails to realize the economic potential of the workforce and also the potential of the whole society. So it will bring down the economic performance of the workers as well as the country. So output per head will fall. That will lead to fall in the total GDP. Further lead to fall in per capita income. So ultimately the standard of living of the people will fall and it leads to poverty. How can we create more employment opportunities to reduce this underemployment in agriculture, or we can say rural areas? So in this slide we are going to see the generation of employment opportunities in the rural area. In the next slide we are going to see employment opportunities can be generated in the urban areas. So point number 1, the kind of employment generation possible within the agriculture sector we are going to see. First one, banks can provide loans to construct well and to take second crop, for example wheat, during the Rabi season. Second point, construction of dams and digging canals could lead to lot of employment generation within the agriculture sector. And now see the point number 4, the banks can give credit at a cheaper rate of interest to buy seeds, fertilizers, agricultural equipments and pump sets, etc. Now come to point number 3. So for the successful operation of the primary sector, there must be a strong service sector. So the government can invest some money in transportation, storage of crops, better rural facilities. So it will generate very productive employment in the service sector. At the same time, the farmers, those who are facing the seasonal unemployment, will be employed in those areas. And the fifth point is promotion of local industries and services in semi-rural areas will lead to more employment generation. For example, procuring and processing the pulse crops. For example, here you can say the example of dal mill. And opening a cold storage for storing the products like potatoes and onions. Setting up of honey collection centers near the forest area. Setting up of industries to process the vegetables, because nowadays the processed vegetables, processed products are part and parcel of modern day life. So setting up of such industries, this and all will help to generate employment opportunities. Now we are going to discuss what are the ways the employment can be increased or generated in urban areas. Here are 8 points. Number 1, creating employment in education sector by constructing schools, appointing teachers and staff. And 2, in the health sector by constructing hospitals and appointing doctors and nurses. And employment generation possible in tourism sector. Then a regional craft industry can be promoted. And the modern day services, IT services, many people can be absorbed. And providing vocational and skilled based education definitely will lead to more employment generation in the country. Provision of cheap loans to set up small scale industries and self-employment opportunities. And the last point is investment in the infrastructure facilities, which will promote the special economic zones and foreign direct investment in the country. And apart from that, definitely when you expand the infrastructure facilities, there will be a greater degree of employment generation in the country. Okay, so out of this, few points can be repeated in the rural area employment generation question also. It is like, in the schools can be set up in the rural areas. So definitely, while during the construction of the school, few people will get the employment. And when we appoint the, teachers and the staff, the same thing, applicable for the construction of hospitals, appointing doctors. That is again, one another way of creating employment opportunities in the rural areas too. One point here, we can expect in 1 mark question or in the multiple choice question. Planning Commission, has been replaced by which body? It is Niti Ayog, right? It is Niti Ayog. Previously, it was known as Planning Commission. Hope you understood the concepts we discussed in this video. We'll continue the remaining part of the lesson in the next video, that is part 4. The organized and unorganized sectors, private and public sector, and the role of public sector in the economy. If you have any doubt or any query, please post in the comment box. Thank you.